A mother camel and her baby were lying down soaking up the sun. And the baby camel asked his mom, "Why do we have these big humps on our back?" The mom stopped to think and then said, "You see, we live in the desert where there is not much water available. And our humps, they store water to help us survive on our long journeys." And the baby camel asked again, "Well, mommy, why do we have long legs with rounded feet?" His mother replied, "They are meant to help us walk through the sand." And the baby asked a third question, "Why are our eyelashes so long?" The mother replied, "Well, our long eyelashes offer us protection from the sand when the wind blows it in our faces." Finally, the baby looked at its mom and said, "Well, if we have all of these natural abilities given to us to walk through the desert, what's their use for us camels here in the zoo? What's the use of having all the qualities and gifts if you do not use them?" As the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It is not enough to know what is good. It is not enough to want what is good or to wish to do what is good. We all have good intentions. We all want what is good and beautiful. The big challenge that Jesus is putting before us in today's gospel is a simple but harsh and demanding one. How can we cross the wide divide between words and actions? That is indeed like crossing the dangerous, challenging desert that lies between words and actions. How can we actually get down to do what is good? We need to take 3 steps to cross this desert land between words and actions. First, let us say thank you for our good desires and our good intentions. Second, let us be humble enough to acknowledge our weaknesses and our limitations. Third, be grateful for the times when we will have paid the price for our love in action. Let us start with the first point. It takes great courage to desire, to want the best, rather than just to want what is good. So do not be afraid to put your standards, your expectations as high as the heavens. Too often we set our ideals and values too low with the excuse of being realistic. This was Jesus' starting point. Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Don't start with a low target, because if you do, you'll end up with no target. Let's start by being idealistic, impractical, unrealistic. I want the best for my loved ones. This was the starting point of Jesus, the starting point of God when He created us. He wants the best for us, and He dreamt that we can become as perfect as He is. This is not idealism. This is what our vocation is all about. It's not our dream, it is God the Father's dream. He created us to be the best of who we can become. Is not this any human mother's or father's wish for their beloved children? As St. Augustine prayed, "You created us for you, O God, and our soul will never find its rest until it rests in you." So let God's dream for you become your dream for God. Do not settle for less than the best as a starting point. But the second point is just as important. However great, however lofty our desires and ideas, we cannot ignore the reality that we are weak, fragile, limited human beings. So let's be humble enough to be at peace with our limitations. As the traditional prayer goes, be patient. God is not finished with you yet. Our limitations are not failures. They are simply stepping stones through which we learn how to get nearer to our real beauty. Weaknesses, mistakes are not failures for those who believe. They are simply steps on our way forward. People are not bad because they make mistakes. They become bad when they do not admit and do not learn by their mistakes. So never give up on being yourself whenever you lose a battle. With God, there is always another time, another chance. It's what Jesus said about the sinful woman that the Pharisees wanted to stone. She has sinned much, but she has loved much. And the only way forward in life is not to get everything always right, but to keep on loving as much as you can at any given moment. Holiness is not a privilege for those who succeed, it is a gift to those who are faithful. And the third point is gratitude. Learn how to say thank you at all times. If you do something beautiful, let that be a gift received and not an achievement to be proud of. If you fail, have the courage to say thank you, just the same. What we learn from our mistakes can never be learned from our successes, and vice versa. You see, gratitude frees your heart to remain totally free from pride in your successes or from despair in your failures. Both can be gifts which can help you to grow further. Remember, it is only love for others that will keep you free from pride or from despair. In today's gospel, Jesus is inviting us to a new freedom, which gives us inner peace, joy. God does not love us because we behave as He wants us. He loves us because He believes in us. He simply rejoices when He sees us growing day by day through our stumbling efforts. Just like a mother who watches over her toddler who is learning how to walk for the first time. His falls are the only way for him to learn how to stand up on his own 2 feet, how to take the next step on the journey of life. Like toddlers, let us start walking, even if we constantly stumble and fall on the way. See, watching over us is an infinitely loving Father and Mother, God Himself. He knows when to pick us up if the going gets too hard for us. The only thing that He asks of us whilst we are stumbling on, is to take off our eyes from our fears and fix them lovingly on Him. His love will lead us on the journey till the day when we shall see Him face to face. On that day, all our failures, all our falls, all our bruises will shine with the glory of His joy. That's why He has given us, like He did with the camels, humps to carry life giving water, long legs not to sink in the shifting sands of life, and long eyelashes not to be blinded by the windy desert storms we need to cross to get back home to His loving heart. What's the use of these gifts if we simply remain stranded in the zoo of life? Are we ready? Are we willing to set out and cross the challenging, dry desert to reach our true and final destination, which is God's own loving heart? May I wish you all a safe, beautiful journey.